incredible performances.
Right.
I believe made one of his first major top 8s as well.
Yeah. And also, like, some really respectable 9th places at huge tournaments. So maybe not so many top 8s, but still always a fantastic performance as well. So going up against Marco on the Toon Link, a surprising amount of links in this block.
How have we had 2 Toon Links in one block?
Like
I don't think I've commentated 2 Toon Links in my life.
Right. There's no way there's like a 3rd Toon Link in the venue even. Like, we must have gotten all of them.
I think this is probably all of them actually.
But hold on, we might have to see a little bit more of the Toon Link if Marco keeps it up. Nice early lead, but SHADIC finally finding some momentum here, trying to keep up this ledge pressure, and that up air into back air was so slick.
Yeah, Marvelous Marco, of course, if any of you are not familiar, I do believe is still a SoCal resident. Shows up, it definitely did show up to, a lot of the MSMs and the WNFs and all that when those were still around. And I know MSM came back, which big shout outs to Vance for bringing that back.
So true.
Honestly, getting to watch SoCal locals always a treat. Marvelous Marco, one of the people you see out there often. And again, not too often you get to see a Toon Link, but he is one of them out there doing it.
Ooh.
And again, the combos you get out of those bombs are just, they're great.
Right. Well, the first time I heard someone say, like, bomb into whatever, I knew what they meant. Like, it really does let you get creative, and we're seeing a little bit of that. A little advertisement there for some of those weeklies you're talking about. I have to go watch some Marco clips, but SHADIC trying to keep it close right now. These aerials barely not taking the stock, but still getting some good damage.
And normally something that Corrin and SHADIC, especially playing the Corrin, is so good at is going off stage and being able to threaten you for a very long, continual period of time and waiting for you to make one mistake. But Toon Link has so many ways to mix up that approach back to stage that you can see it's kind of been hard for SHADIC to be able to put that pressure on. So instead, sticking to the ledge trap, working out right there. I saw Marco a little bit frustrated with the way that first stock went out too, but SHADIC right back into this one and getting it up to 43 already.
Not bad, not bad. Ooh, really interesting route there, and the boomerang kind of helping out Marco reverse all this momentum here. Really interesting dynamic that we're going to see here. That boomerang, like we mentioned, so very, very good and versatile.
Yeah, lots of ways to apply the uses there for sure. And again, the combo game that we've seen, like, I didn't know Toon Link had combos like this. I didn't know that you could link 4 hits with this character.
It's kind of wild. And the bomb also so versatile. Even right there, just giving some breathing room, some time to pull that other bomb. Really good stuff. And look at all of this extra pressure while making it back to the ledge.
That was really smart by SHADIC to dash away and shield into that boomerang, render it inert as quickly as possible, and then try to get right back up right in front of Marco's face, because again, you saw that right there, had to stay in shield as that boomerang approached, and that gave Marco that opportunity to get right back on stage just quick as can be, but also taking another trip off stage. SHADIC, and you can see this again, right, sticking to the ledge trapping instead of necessarily the edge guard.
Right, and just barely missing the mark here.
Oh,
the arrow
my
connects.
God.
Oh,
Marco, that was the 360 no scope, like jumping off of like the high rise crane, YY 360 throwing knife. But you just can't say SHADIC is ever out of it, because every single time that Marco has taken the lead, he's done it twice in this game, hasn't been able to maintain it for longer than a few seconds.
Yep, SHADIC is right off of the platform, keeping it even right now, and one opening can even up the percents as well. We saw SHADIC with some really good advantage states, but Marco's just not letting it happen right now. Oh, geez, the vertical pressure too. Corrin not the best at landing, and Marco's kind of exploiting it right now. Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, really trying to catch a big mistake there from SHADIC. And honestly, like, when you're up by 80%, you're allowed to go for a couple of big reads so long as it's in a situation like that where, a reversal is not going to cost you any more than maybe 20%.
All right, really good tools here. I like using that boomerang as some extra coverage to pull that bomb. SHADIC on the hunt, though, and you do not want to be at the ledge versus Corrin, but, oh, I love the nair to break up that boomerang. Okay, down tilt and up air. Putting that pressure on. The nair's not landing in the forward tilt. Opens up the stage for Marco. So dangerous right now.
This is the scary bit for SHADIC right here, though, is that these last 2 stocks, Marco's been the first one to get it, but on the last stock, that's the one where the result matters most, and that time SHADIC is able to read that recovery down in the middle of pulling that bomb. Didn't have too many options available. And SHADIC putting the screws to Marvelous Marco in that game 1. As many times as Marco did get out to a lead, again, just wasn't able to maintain it and build up that extra credit. And I think that playing a character with an archetype like Toon Link, you really need to be able to do that.
Right. And I mean, we saw some fantastic momentum, but even like Marco was like, oh man, I messed up. I should have tried to keep that lead, but it's kind of hard because they were keeping it close enough that any stray hit from Spargo, we were talking like back airs or, maybe a pin, would just immediately take the stock back from Marco. But if he can run away with that lead, it's going to be a very different game, because then all of a sudden Spargo has to like force the issue on not necessarily a Toon Link with a lot of percent, but just like a little bit of damage. So we're going to mix it up here with the stage pick. It'll be Kalos.
Yeah, game number 2 to a much flatter stage where Marco can still use these side platforms to try and set up for big combos, and definitely for Toon Link, I think get a lot of confirms off of these side platforms. Did keep his double jump, doesn't have it now, didn't have the bomb in hand either, so that high recovery was necessary. And I think this gives SHADIC much fewer escape zones as well, but thus far that has also been true for Marco, and something to consider against a character that doesn't even necessarily need the platforms like Corrin, to get those combos going. Right.
And I mean, the wall is always something to talk about, but not very important to mix up the recoveries. Ooh.
I was actually about to say that, yeah, I do believe that Toon Link has a wall jump, if I'm not mistaken, but even more importantly, SHADIC loves this stage as a counter pick because Corrin gets to live, I mean, basically as long as she's still on the screen, she gets to stay alive.
Yeah, basically like a third or fourth jump almost, with that pin into the wall and the jump, but ooh, okay.
Just like that. Just like that. Put that on the commentary reel and ship it. Really? Nonetheless, though, yeah, SHADIC, though, getting out to the lead right now. The first hit does go to him, and very different dynamic to that game 1 where Marco was always the one trying to get control. And here you can see the difference between getting that first stock and actually maintaining that lead for an amount of time, where you're actually able to build up some damage.
And I think there's a little bit more confidence, too, from SHADIC. We're seeing more of that edge guarding, like you said. Instead of just focusing on the ledge play, kind of going out there and trying to land those back airs. But big opportunity for Marco to reversal, and it happened just as I even started setting it up. Big forward tilt right there, and SHADIC, as we said so many times before, with the immediate response.
And Marco has shown some, really good reactive gameplay so far in a lot of these situations. Man, using the Zaire mid combo to bring that all the way up to 42%, and then able to put the Corrin in the corner. And again, this side platform, you got to watch out if you're stuck up there, because Toon Link has combos that can carry you off of the side at surprisingly early percents. Because another 8 right there, SHADIC is done on that stock.
And the bomb, though, the way it interacts with the pin was not a dynamic that I thought about, and unable to make it back. Marco with a little bit of a lead, but you can't write it better than it happens in real life. SHADIC with the response, as we talked about so many times before, and it all comes down to this stock here on Kalos. Will SHADIC keep that momentum up? Or is this Marco's game? Who knows?
Definitely could go either way, because both of these players have been very consistent in taking their stocks. I think it's just going to be down to who has the actual key moments to apply some adaptations. So far, SHADIC has shown a very good understanding of when to pull the trigger on this.
Right. I think they were just barely missing the mark in game 1, but game 2 they are definitely on course. Like, SHADIC just looks so confident off stage, but Marco in these small little advantage states with the combos just looking so fabulous right now.
Oh my goodness, yeah, triple up airs right there. Not able to connect the final one though, so SHADIC is right back out of that disadvantage. Love the use of the pin to try to cover an air dodge back to that platform. A lot of Toon Links are just going to think, hey, that's my safe place. Oh my goodness, SHADIC deep off stage, but somehow does not pay the price.
No, Marco unfortunately holding on to that bomb a little bit too long. Kind of gave SHADIC exactly enough time to make it back. Now they're both fighting in neutral here. It's so very tense right now. Marco trying to take it slow with some safe options. Zaire, boomerang, bomb in hand. SHADIC looking for an opportunity to punish. Looking for that platform drop, but it's going to be the aerial from Marco right now. Oh my god, so tense. The boomerang! Oh.
I can't believe the ways that Marco has been able to finish off these combos, even with just like that extra bit of percent to get that stage control. But one more confirmed from either of these players can end this game immediately. I mean, Marco even stray hits for him as well, but say the same about SHADIC.
Wow.
Ledge trap is huge, and that sliding forward tilt. Marco looked like he got forward tilted in real life, even though he was the one that won the game, but brings it to 1-1 going into the pivotal game 3.
That was a lot of composure necessary for, honestly, both players, but Marco finding a pretty rare mix-up. I don't think we saw a lot of like boosted tilts or anything like that at the ledge. Usually it was just some bomb setups, maybe some aerials, trying to keep it safe at roll distance. So that was why it was such a good mix-up there to go to such lengths to go with the aggressive option. Really good mix-up. Definitely caught SHADIC off guard, maybe holding back a little bit too to take that stock and letting the game go to Marco, which was a bit surprising considering how that momentum shifted going into that last stock. But there are definitely plenty of games to be played here. Both of the players taking a moment to admire the stage list. See if we can find a good counter pick here.
Think about it. And again, character first here, right? Which I don't think is an issue for these two. They're both pretty staunchly just, they play who they play. But I honestly would not be surprised to see the rest of the set played on Kalos, because again, SHADIC, extremely comfortable here, knows how to set up his combos, where to set him up, when he can actually get his confirms. And clearly Marco very comfortable here as well.
Right.
It just seems like a good place for them both.
Yeah, I mean, think about how that early stock would have gone if not for that platform assistance, right? That recovery that SHADIC kept taking all of the options from ended up being Marco making it back with the up special to the platform after not having a jump, not having a bomb. If that was another stage, SHADIC would have ran away with that early lead, but Marco was able to bring it all the way back. So really good opportunity to maybe look for some more of those options here in Game 3.
And again, you know, Kalos just a stage where both of these players, if they can push the other one into the corner and keep them there, that's why the ledge trapping and the stage control is going to be so, so important when it comes to Kalos, because that opens up your longer combos. And, you know, especially if your opponent wants to sit up on that platform, that's going to be Marco most of the time.
Right.
We're going to see SHADIC just like that, call it out with these up airs, and then try to continue it as long as possible. And even after all of that, got started because SHADIC called out Marco for going to that platform, he drifted to the other side of the stage and wanted to land on the platform.
Yep. It's going to take a lot more than that to discourage some good old-fashioned platforms. You know, I wouldn't call it camping, but just good old platform love.
Your instant the platform love. That's like the distance demon of platform camping. Right. Oh my God, SHADIC went deep.
That was so great, and you have all of those extra options in the repertoire because of that extra jump from the wall as well. So good stuff from SHADIC. Keeping all that in mind and keeping that pressure up, trying to run away with a little bit of a lead for probably the first time ever, but Marco's not letting it slide.
I don't know about ever.
Well, no.
maybe in this set.
Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah, not ever.
SHADIC's won quite a few sets handily.
Not lifetime.
I can personally verify. He has never done this well before in life.
Oh man, a good
what
vertical.
A breakout.
Again, some more vertical pressure with the up airs. A fantastic tool in the SHADIC catalog. We're seeing a lot of it too in so many different ways. Very versatile move. Just in terms of, like, you know, the reversal up air as well, but Marco trying to find this opening, and there it is, the boomerang, one more time.
Yeah, you just got to always be able to keep that in mind. We were talking about it earlier when Spritzy was playing, that just, it's so sneaky.
Right.
And it's on a different timing than, you know, what you see from, you're gone. Oh, you're just gone. Look at Marco, too. He's like, oh, I thought it would go away by then.
Right. Honestly, it was, like, from the logo. Like, I would not blame him for thinking it just wouldn't make it that far.
Yeah.
That was a half-court shot if I've ever seen it.
Oh, my God, Ethan with the crazy one.
Another fantastic pin, which, you know, they haven't been hitting as often, but they've been hitting when it matters, really adding on that damage, and the back airs, too, so threatening on that platform. Marco's going to make it back, though. Huge nair. The coverage on that was phenomenal.
SHADIC has just been all over Marco. Great tech. Tried to avoid the down air. We're somehow back, but getting caught up in the momentum. SHADIC just needs one more. This time he does press the air dodge button, so no trip to the blast zone via that electric ball, but at 150%, it's just going to take one more stray hit. Even an up throw will be enough to do it. SHADIC showing us a starkly different game on Kalos there in that game number 4.
Right. We definitely saw some fantastic adaptation and a lot of really good aggression from SHADIC that Marco really didn't have an answer to. We saw plenty of great aggression from Marco in terms of, like, the horizontal combos in the previous game, but SHADIC was just not letting it happen. There was no footing to be had because of all of those vertical combos that SHADIC implemented. Marco didn't have any time to get to the ground to set up for advantage or neutral even. SHADIC was just all over it.
And that's crazy to think about, right? Because Corrin's slower character and going up against what we think of as a zoner. But, I mean, SHADIC just has his ways of really finding those gaps in your pressure, right? Those moments where you just can't throw out another hitbox. You have to get into a position to reset, and he just sticks to you like glue the moment you try to back up.
All right, going back into it, we are going to be mixing it up a little bit with the Town and City pick, which I kind of like. I get the idea. It's going to help Marco with a lot of that horizontal combos that we talked about previously. but it's going to be tough. You have to try and find an opening first. So far, though, Marco looking pretty comfortable.
Yeah, 51%. And I think that this layout is actually pretty excellent for Toon Link. I mean, Corrin on this one as well. She can cover those side platforms in a way that a lot of other characters can't, both safely and actually in a way that can let her continue her pressure.
Right.
I mean, you're going to see it right here, right? SHADIC just retreats to that upper platform with that up air just in case Marco goes over there. And if not, you get a free ledge trap afterwards. And that kind of decision-making on a stage like this can go a long way.
Definitely. And already we're seeing a lot more anti-boomerang tech, if you will, from SHADIC. Throwing out those hitboxes to try and knock the boomerang down to the ground, because it was pretty helpful in the last game. A lot of those reverse hit boomerang combos kind of led into some really early stocks for Marco.
You see SHADIC trying to test the gaps in the pressure right there with the boomerang, thinking, where am I allowed to punish this? Where do I need to back off? Right now, Marco is saying, yeah, you better back off, courtesy of my hitboxes. Tipper pin sends that Toon Link off stage, but Marco with the wherewithal to save that jump. That is brave, but it pays off dividends.
Oh my goodness, the offense from SHADIC there was phenomenal. The jump after that pin to keep up the shield pressure, and then continue with another pin to seal the deal. Phenomenal stuff.
I can't believe that hit. Like, that's just a Toon Link big head diff.
Right. Oh, poor guy.
If only you weren't the cartoons.
Young Link wouldn't have got hit.
Yeah, no, exactly, yeah. Not that Young Link can get off the ledge at all.
Right. Well, speaking of back at the ledge, a nice little roll on with that boomerang for some coverage. And look at the tools here, all these specials coming in handy. Rare miss from SHADIC, and Marco is definitely trying to capitalize here, trying to take the stock to even it up. But SHADIC says, you know what, let's take a breather, gonna slow it down a little bit here, go back to the ledge, and then get a combo started too. Oop.
Oop indeed. That is a big oop. Like, that wasn't even a direct punish, like on the, like one big hit on your weird charged up B. No, SHADIC took that whole combo for a tour across the town and the city. Right.
With the delay on the nair, I knew SHADIC was cooking something up.
Yeah.
And wow, what a dish.
Ooh, delicioso.
Okay, I love that little smoke screen action. Gonna sneak in an up air right there, but Marco, unfortunately, a little bit of a deficit here. It's gonna be hard to make it back, especially when SHADIC is just so ruthless right now with that off-stage pressure.
And on he goes. Marco is on his last stock of the winner's bracket right now. If he cannot find a way to make this comeback happen, and it is a fat comeback that he needs to make. And 123, and SHADIC still barely scratched on this second stock. But here we go, Marco. These side platforms, just like Kalos, right, open up a lot of Toon Link combo potential. Wasn't able to find anything, but did turn things around here, and up the numbers go. Marco is not going to give up on this comeback until the game is over, quite frankly.
Yeah, definitely not. Catching that jump from the ledge with a forward air. Bombs trying to set up some offensive options at the ledge, and it worked out. Cooking up something crazy right now. Marco at 130, but SHADIC on the last stock. Could be the start of something crazy, but I know SHADIC is going to do his best to not let that happen. Ooh.
You got the ledge trap available to you, right? And I think all SHADIC needs is one tip or pin. It's exactly what he's looking for. But the counterplay right here from Marco is throw this boomerang diagonally up, right? Cover that exact range where you set up for that pin. But he's used so much of his shield up, it is barely but a pebble.
Unbelievable. Good stuff to go from the ledge. Try and get some time for that shield to recharge.
Oh, he didn't have his jump.